5 life laws I live by, and maybe you should too. In this article, I will break down 5 life laws that have changed my life, and I think it will change yours too if you practice them. The first life law on this list is the Golden Rule. The Golden Rule says, you will treat others the way you want to be treated. I believe that change starts with us. All too often, we want the world to change, the government to change, the economy to change, but we don't want to change ourselves. Imagine a world where we all really tried to follow this rule. What would that look like? How would it be? Every day, I tried to treat people the same and try to be kind. When I was younger, I didn't know any better, and what I have found in the last few years is that if you follow this rule, your life just gets better, and people tend to reciprocate. Think about it. If you treat people nicely, they will almost always do the same. You might say, well, some people are mean. Yes, and if they are, be the bigger person and choose to be different. You don't have to react to hostility. Walk away with a smile. The second life law has literally changed the way I see success, and that is to form the habit of doing things that I don't want to do. Over time, I learned that whenever you set a goal, there are 2 types of things that you have to do. The first type are things that are fun to do. The second type are things that are not fun at all. Let me give you a concrete example. I love to speak at conferences and I love being on stage sharing ideas. To get there, I have to cold email, pitch people, get rejected, and write contracts. I hate doing every one of those activities, but I love to speak. What would happen if I don't do them? I would never get booked for a single event. In other words, to achieve your goal and dreams, you have to do both, the fun and the not-so-great activities. If you don't form the habit of doing things you don't want to do, you will only get the results that can only be achieved by doing the fun things. And that, my friends, is how you end up doing what you don't want to do, wearing what you don't want to wear, living where you don't want to live, and with a life you don't want to live. The next one on the list is never forget where you came from or where you started. Too many people find some success and immediately forget where they started or what got them there. There are 2 types of people in this area. The ones that choose to think that they are the best thing that happened to the planet after they achieve some success or even get to the top. And there are those who, despite their success, they lead with humility, remembering where they started while focusing on where they're going. The reason why this life law matters is because it gives us perspective during tough times, and it reminds us how far we've gotten. The next one is not only a life law, but I think it should be one of our priorities. And that is that health is my number 1 priority. Despite all the external advice and media articles, your health needs to be a priority. Without health, we have nothing, and that means taking control of both our mental and physical health. When I was much younger, I thought I was invincible. And as I got older, I learned that if we don't make health a priority, it deteriorates and it happens quickly. Unfortunately, most people learn these things when it's too late, when they have a disease that could have easily been prevented by exercising and having a better diet, or when their bodies hurt, when they cannot keep up with their kids and they can't even run a quarter mile without passing out. This isn't innovative or something you don't already know. But the fact is that most people are overweight and are on a fast track to death. If you don't believe me, Just look at the statistics. I know, this isn't a popular topic, and you might not like me for saying this, but statistics and facts generally don't lie. Nowadays, there is this movement of calling everything toxic, and that includes being positive. It's very strange to me because I have never found myself in a situation where being positive did not lead to a better outcome. Remember that being negative, miserable, and depressed is the norm. Our initial reaction is almost always to rant and cry about our circumstances. But despite the challenges, we can take a moment to think about anything positive in the situation. This takes discipline and a lot of practice and maturity. I use a simple line: find the positive, find the positive. The key is to take time to first feel the negative emotions, but not to act on them. In the end, these are my thoughts. Perhaps you disagree, and that's okay. We have to learn to agree to you disagree, and that's okay. We have to learn to agree to disagree. I don't want you to agree with me. What I am suggesting is that you take a look at this list and see if there's something that can spark change for you.